Count on 2, live and local in the Lowcountry. This is News 2 at 6.
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Murray. Some homeowners here in the Lowcountry are on the verge of losing their homes because they simply can't pay their property taxes. Requests will happen tonight at the Charleston City Council meeting to create a system so that homeowners can pay their taxes in installments. News 2 Sophia Arizosa is live at that meeting tonight in Sophia. Have they reached a decision about this proposal?
Carolyn, the Finance Committee just approved this ordinance, and community leaders we spoke to today tell us this is going to help people who are having trouble paying their property taxes in that one lump sum at the end of the year. Instead, they're going to have the option to pay it in 6 installments throughout the year. Now, currently, South Carolina law does allow installment plans, but Charleston County doesn't offer any. Neighboring Beaufort and Colleton County do have similar ordinances, as well as 11 other counties in the state. Earlier today, we spoke to the county treasurer, who says this will give taxpayers more options.
You would pay in equal installments throughout the year, your real property taxes based on the previous year. So there are some details that certainly would need to be hammered out, but it is rather than one lump sum during the holiday season, for instance, it would give taxpayers the opportunity to pay throughout the year. And hopefully, for those who perhaps have a fixed income, it would help with cash flow.
The Finance Committee did approve this tonight, but this is the first of 3 readings needed for it to go into effect. If approved, it will be available for tax year 2019. Reporting in Charleston, Sophia Arizosa, Count on 2.
All right, that's good welcome news for a lot of people. Sophia, thank you. In Berkeley County, a child is in the hospital after being hit by a car this morning while on the way to school. It happened in Somerville on Tram Boulevard at the child's school bus stop. News 2's Berkeley County reporter Raymond Owens tells us what happened.
I spoke to a woman whose daughter goes to this same bus stop out here, and she tells me she knows just how serious an accident at a bus stop can be.
I love it here. It was a nice small community. They're building a lot around it.
Rebecca LaGrady has lived in Tramway for 5 years.
I lived in the country before, but I wanted my children to grow up with neighborhood children.
A number of children were getting ready for school this morning at 6:40 when a 9-year-old girl was hit by a 4-door Dodge vehicle. The vehicle was driving down Tram Boulevard and the little girl attempted to walk across the street. LaGrady's middle school daughter walked toward the bus stop just after the accident happened.
She saw the ambulance this morning. She came home letting me know what was going on.
The accident hit home for LaGrady.
I did have a friend a long time ago got hit by a car at a bus stop, and she's lived with brain damage ever since.
Fortunately, the Highway Patrol says the girl who was hit this morning did not sustain very serious life-threatening injuries. The victim is continuing to recover, and investigators are continuing to learn more about exactly what happened. In the Tramway community in Somerville, I'm Raymond Owens, Count on 2.
In Charleston County, North Charleston police are investigating a homicide that happened Wednesday night just before 7 o'clock on Gaynor Avenue. Police say a man was found lying in the road after receiving calls about a shooting. Police say 2 cars were seen driving away from that scene. You can call Crime Stoppers if you have information about this homicide. The number for Crime Stoppers, 843-554-1111. And do you recognize the person in this sketch? Charleston police say that the suspect is connected to an armed robbery that happened at the Family Dollar store on Meeting Street back in October. If you have any information about the person who may be connected to that robbery, please call Crime Stoppers. The number is on your screen. Officials in Charleston County are taking extra measures to make sure people living in the McClellanville and South Santee areas have access to clean water. News 2's Laura Smith went to Aundaw Fire Station 4, where a portable water tank is now set up. This all stems from a problem at some of the water distribution stations.
The Department of Health and Environmental Control, or DHEC, now requires daily water tests. Before, it was once a week. For years, Mount Pleasant Water Works had been testing the water, but they stopped early this month, saying the daily tests were too expensive.
Recently, we were advised by the Department of Health and Environmental Control that we would have to visit these stations every day as opposed to once a week. Obviously, this additional time spent checking on these stations created an additional cost to Mount Pleasant Water Works far beyond a cost-effective cost-benefit.
Now we are learning Charleston County is now in the process of having one of its employees certified to do the water test. Until then, officials will use a portable water tanker to provide residents with clean water. That beginning here today, set up at Allendale's Fire Station 4, located off Highway 17 in McClellanville. Now, there is no word on when these water distribution sites will open back up, but we are told many families in that area have their own water wells. In the Alert Center, Laura Smith, Count on 2.
Laura, thank you. The University of South Carolina is trying to address the state's teacher shortage by introducing a new program. It's called the South Carolina Teacher Induction Program. It helps recent University of South Carolina graduates tackle the first few years as a new teacher and then keep them in classrooms.
Having the support here in South Carolina makes me want to stay for a lot longer. I don't necessarily have any plans for where I'm going to teach, but having this amazing system, it really makes me want to stay here for a long time.
This is the first year of the program. Right now, it's just for USC students, but faculty is hoping to open this program up to all students at colleges and universities in our state. The chairman of the state-owned utility, Santee Cooper, Leighton Lord, is fighting back after Governor McMaster said he would be fired. Santee Cooper was one of the utilities that abandoned the VC Summer nuclear project plant after being billions of dollars over budget and years from completion. Lord filed a lawsuit yesterday to try and prevent being fired. The governor's office says they stand by their decision. A judge has granted the former Berkeley County Independent School District Chief Financial Officer Brantley Thomas a $50,000 bond. Last week, Thomas was indicted for embezzlement after admitting to the FBI that he stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from the school for his own personal use. A group in Somerville is in the process of updating the zoning ordinance and land development. Now they want input from people about the plans. News 2's Dorchester County reporter Stetson Miller tells us where you can voice your concerns.
The town of Somerville is considering adopting a unified development ordinance. That means updating planning and zoning codes that haven't been updated in years.
Somerville is updating the zoning ordinance and land development regulations and creating a unified development ordinance. Current regulations are from the early 80s and are outdated. They can be confusing to navigate.
Right now we have our zoning ordinance in one chapter, we have development codes in another chapter, we have stormwater regulations in a different place. We're trying to put everything into one unified document to make it easier, basically, for people to find things and understand how development works in the town of Somerville.
So if you want to make a change in your home or build something in Somerville, officials say it will be easier under this ordinance.
It's hard to find specific things if you're just looking to do something specific, like a homeowner who's looking to add a screen porch to their house. In this new ordinance, we'll have a lot more charts, and so they could go to that one chart, find exactly what they need without having to read through 3 pages of stuff they don't need.
But the town is holding public input workshops before passing the ordinance to the Planning Commission and then to Town Council for adoption.
We have 2 more upcoming workshops this coming Monday and Tuesday. Mondays is at Austin Bailey Elementary School from 6 to 8. Tuesdays is at Oak Brook Elementary School from 6 to 8 as well.
Now, the estimated adoption time for the ordinance is sometime in late spring. In Somerville, Stetson Miller, Count on 2.
If you want to show your children something similar to a reindeer this holiday season, go to Charlestown Landing. The only elk in our state is at the landing. Clark is native to North Carolina. He crossed into the upstate of South Carolina, and now he makes the Low Country his home.
Kind of broke away from his herd, and he ended up, I guess, wandering into people's neighborhoods.
Oh, that's so cool. The best time to see this, well, remember he's an elk, not a reindeer, but if you'd like to see him, the best time is between 10 and noon. He will eventually lose his antlers, but he will grow them back even bigger next year.
Coming up on News 2 at 6.
In tonight's restaurant report card, we will tell you which Low Country restaurants receive violations for improper cooling times and also rodent droppings.